welcome back to Rima's Talk Show, where the focus is about life, sex, and relationship experiences. I'm so your beautiful Oscar Rima, and I'm so glad you guys are here with me again. I'm glad about the turnout of the YouTube views and everything. You guys are real MVPs, and with the way things that are happening around in this country, I won't lie, it's really disheartening. But well, let's just take our mind off that, and that is why Rima Talk Show is there, so that you can be able to take your mind off that thing that is troubling you, right? Okay, so today's episode is something really personal, something that it might really make you feel uncomfortable, it might make you pause, reflect, and it is definitely okay, really okay. The topic is: your family doesn't define you, or does it? It's more like a rhetorical question. Your family does not define you, or does it? We'll be right back. Now, when I say family, I'm not just talking about parents. I'm talking about parents. I'm not talking about siblings or relatives. I'm talking about your habits, your expectations. I'm talking about traditions. I'm talking about traumas that comes with being part of a family. And before we delve deep into this topic, I want you to think for a moment. Let us both think for a moment. How often do you hear your family voice in your head? Maybe it's your mama or your dada or your sister or your cousin or your maternal grandmother if you're an orphan, or your paternal grandfather, like that, or your paternal grandmother, telling you what you should do, what you shouldn't do, or who you should be. Sometimes that voice can, it can be loving, but sometimes it is very critical, and sometimes it is really overwhelming. It gets you to the point like, oh God. So does that voice actually define who you are, or is there a part of you that that you can rise above it? Today we are going to explore all of that. We are going to talk about how family shapes us, shapes us, but how would I put it? But also how we can choose, who we want to be. So now let's start by unpacking what influence really means, what family influence really means. See, let me tell you a fun fact. Every single person out there, you listeners, every one of us right now has been shaped by, the family in some way. We've been shaped by our family in one or two ways, and it's a fact. But this is something I want you to know, that is that influence is not identity. Even if it's shaped up, it is definitely not identity. Think about it. How you talk, how you handle money, how you express love, even how you cope with stress. All of this can come from what you experienced as a child. It's really when you go to some people behaving somehow and you look at the patterns, you're like, definitely it all stems from childhood experience. Maybe it's your family that taught you, oh, work hard or you won't survive, or your employment, for the spiritual folks, your employment is caused by the curse of a maternal mother or grandmother. Whereas how the situation of this country is nothing to write home about. Well, any small thing, let me go to the pastor. One day we can actually talk about okay, I just get a very good innovation right now. We can talk about religion. Okay, so just like how religion can really fucked up with some people's mind, or maybe how love in your household was shown through criticisms or control, or probably emotions was even avoided totally. Nobody even talk about it at all. That is influence, and it is real, really real. But influence is like a shadow. That's it. Influence is like a shadow. But your identity, that is what you truly are. That is what you choose. Your whole self, your whole being, your whole purpose in this life. And and that is the light. Your identity is the light. You can step out of that shadow that is the influence and create your own path. Now, before we move again, I have a question for you. Let's answer, and you can write it down, then you can answer it later. Okay? How much of what okay, now let me not really jump into that. I want you to take a deep breath, then you answer that on your own, or you can message and comment. How much of what you believe about yourself really belongs to you? How much of it really belongs to you? No judging here. Is it, my mom told me that I'll be successful. Oh, my mom told me I'm supposed to be a doctor. Oh, my dad told me that I'm supposed to study engineering, and that is why I made myself here also. And how much is inherited from family's expectation? Think about that for a moment. Just think about it. How much of what you believe about yourself really belongs to you, that you are the one that make that decision yourself, and how much is inherited from family expectation. Okay, and before I say something that has to do with maybe any topic, I'll make sure it's something that has happened to me before. So I will share some stories that a friend and also mine, even though if I want to set a story about that, it really is anonymous, and I'm not saying their name, but just I'm sharing the story. The thing is that I myself, about this family identity, I'm a very verbal person. I talk. I'm a very curious person, but I live in a home that, sex is like a sacred something. A woman's body is like, you don't say it out, or if you're outspoken, it feels as if maybe you're rude. But I don't like it. I don't. I'm not to the fact that, because I'm a girl, I'm not supposed to talk, or because it's a guy, he's supposed to be the one that is vulgar and everything. No, right from onset, I don't like it. I'm always outspoken. I'm always curious about the women's, even the male body. Always curious about it, everything. I don't accept bare minimum. I've had it at the back of my mind that there's some certain things that I won't accept. Mediocre, I won't accept it. But insight on marriage, things that I've seen around me, I just don't. But in family, they'll be like, no, as a woman, you need to be submissive. Meanwhile, the definition of submission is definitely different from what I have believed in. No, that's not it. The definition of submission is definitely different from it. When I talk about trauma, family that doesn't believe in, you'll be like, you're strong. There's no need for you to believe in trauma. I'm like, no, trauma is real. No, trauma, it is real. When my dad died, I had this setback. Was a little bit suicidal at some point, but whenever I see, the first time I actually talked about it, be like, but the thing is that I didn't let that shut me out. I made sure I render help to myself by researching, because I have people, in as much as it's kind of what it has already been shaped and everything, I know that they really do love me. So I don't want to do something that I will regret later. So to all the suicidal person out there, to all the suicidal people out there, in as much as the thing in your head is telling that you're going to find peace, you can still find peace here with us by reaching out, by talking, by speaking up. Nobody's going to shun you out. Okay, so that is that. A lot of expectation, even religiously. I love Christian music. I listen to, even at times I pray in Christian way, but there's not even need for saying in Christian. Okay, you can see that there's no need for me to even say in Christian way, because English is a general language. Well, with the way people has already say, Christians pray in English, Muslims pray in Arabic, it's definitely the same thing. So when praying in Christian, you'll be like, are you Muslim? You better don't change it. But me, I don't care. I also have a friend of mine that is really emotionally unavailable, and after a lot of talk, it was like he's not always there with his friends, he's not always available, and people complain a lot about him. So when we talked and all like that, and I'm like, okay, guy, when I notice some patterns, this and this, how do you behave at home? How would and he explained. I'm like, okay, and this thing is something that you've actually experienced when you were a kid. You feel like emotions, hey, a man doesn't cry, a man doesn't do this. Meanwhile, you're bottling up a lot of emotions inside you that's making you to be raging, making you to get snappy at any time. But when he started working on himself, now he has a very good elder relationship, even with this romantic partner and platonic friends. Really good. All these stories that I'm sharing with you, it shows that while family shapes us, it doesn't have to define us. Okay, you can really reshape yourself. You can. They say it in Yoruba that that if they give birth to you, actually regret yourself. I don't know if I'm correct, please. You will write your story, and in fact, you can even heal the patterns that were passed down for generations to generations. Yeah, those patterns that you feel like, okay, it's not something. We are growing, we are moving. We're not supposed to be at the back where we're not supposed to be in 1.0 version of sense. Now we are evolving. Okay, so you can really heal the path. If it's toxicity, if it's how would I put it, believing that some certain things are meant to be good for you. If you feel like the fact that, okay, I love this art, but my father is telling me that, this thing, my father is telling me that he wants me to be a doctor, but my brain is not taking that medicine and surgery, and you love fashion design, you love art, you go for it. At one point it might feel difficult, or they might even say they would disown you, but make sure you know what you're doing, make sure you get a positive result out of it. And it's not that you're going to get once you step into that fashion design or into art or whatsoever you want to do that is not in align with your parents, what they want, it's going to boom. No, you have challenges, just like the thing they ask you to do. You definitely have challenges, but because if you actually follow them and you face challenge, you'll be like, oh, but Shimari, that's how it's going to be. That's that. But if you did not, you see, that's how. If it is, if it that, stuff like that. All right. Okay. Now, let's explore what it looks like when family does define people. What it looks like. Sometimes when we let our families define us, maybe it's expectations about your career, just like I said, or your relationships. Oh, you're not supposed to date this Muslim, you're not supposed to date Christian. As far as your peace of mind is there, my dear, go for it. And this thing has actually stemmed into some people, so that even if you're telling them, they'll be like, no. But if you're to look at it deep, it is what their family has told them. It is what they actually observed as a child. That's it. Or how you behave. There's some certain people that I'll be like, I don't know how the environment you grew up, but this is not what human being. This is not how they behave. Seriously, this is not how they behave. Even though nobody is perfect, but at least there's some certain things that a human is supposed to like. Okay, this is a normal human being, right? Or a family reputation. Oh, I don't want to spoil my family's reputation. Yeah, it's not good to. We all have it, but people are bound to make mistakes. We are humans. We are bound to make mistakes. Okay, or the feeling that you are. That you have to repeat cycles even if they don't serve you. You have to do it. Oh, my dad studied law, my mom studied law, I'm supposed to study law. My dad is eleha, or my mom is a pastor, I'm supposed to marry a pastor. A lot of things like that. or my mom was abusive, or my dad was abusive, I'm supposed to do that. Well, what should I do? That is what my mom is alive, or my dad is still alive. No, for some, this is their reality every day, every fucking day. This is their reality, and it feels impossible, to step outside of it. Even if you tell them, like I said, they just stick to their brain. You like, no, 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 I beg, I know fit, but I'll tell you the truth right now. Family defines you only if you let it, and realizing that is the first step to reclaiming your power. If you let it, and once you realize that, okay, this is really defined and I don't want it, you've reclaimed your power, and that is the first step of it. I want you to pause for a moment right now and think about this. Which family expectations have you been carrying that might not belong to you? Which of it? It might be two, it might be three, it might be one. Think of it, that that this is not me. It's not really going with my soul. I don't really like it. Okay. Acknowledging them first is the first step towards freedom. Acknowledging that, okay, this is that expectation, this is that trauma, this is the cycle I don't want to repeat. Acknowledging them is the first step towards freedom. And without, like I do say, in every problem there's always a solution. Every problem there's always a solution. Now here comes the exciting part. Breaking cycles. This is about actively deciding which part of your family history or story you want to keep and which one you want to leave behind. Number one, identify the habits. You identify the habits, the beliefs, or patterns that hold you back. It can be fear, perfection, or limiting belief you inherited. Something that you inherited, something that that I don't like it. It might be tough. Yeah, it might be tough, but once you acknowledge it, you're good to go, darling. You're good. Number two, decide consciously what to carry forward. What do you feel that you want to carry forward? Some lessons and values are worth keeping, some are not. Leave it behind. That hurt, leave it behind. That trauma, leave it behind. That cycle, leave it behind. Leave it. All things have passed away. 3, take daily actions to define yourself intentionally. There's nothing self-care cannot do. There's nothing. It's called setting boundaries, pursuing your passions, or learning new ways to express your emotions. I know this is not easy. Even I myself that is saying it, there are some certain things that I actually dropped, and I will tell you it is not easy. I was frowned at. I was like, you. You want to marry a Yoruba man? Oh, you don't want to do this. Oh, you're not ready for marriage. Oh, hello. No, but it takes courage. Yeah, it takes courage, takes reflection, and sometimes confrontation. You talk. You're an adult. You talk. But every day you make choices about your career, your relationship, and mindset. Like yourself, you are defining yourself, not your family. Because you are whole. You are you. You are you. You are you. Nobody is you. You're the one living in that life. You're not your parent. You're not your sibling. You are you. You're just one. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone who grew up believing they were bad with money because their parents always argue about finances like that, and now they decided to just educate themselves and create budgets, invest wisely. Today, I will tell you, they are financially independent and confident. That is breaking a cycle. So now I want you to think, which cycle do you want to break today? End it. Which cycle do you want to end today? Think about it. I want you to really reflect for a few moments. Grab a notebook and just sit quietly. Okay, there's no pressure at all. Ask yourself these questions. A lot of questions in this topic, because it's not about me, it is about you. So once you're able to give answers to that, then you're good to go. I want you to ask yourself these questions. Number one, what beliefs or habits from my family are holding me back? Okay, yeah, that's it. What beliefs or habits from my family are holding me back? Are you writing that? 2, which part do I want to embrace fully? Which part of it? Because definitely it's not everything that is bad. So which part of it do I want to embrace fully? 3, the last one. If family expectations disappeared tomorrow, what would I be differently? Yeah, if family expectations disappear tomorrow, now nobody's telling you what to do, what would you be differently? Are you going to be lost? Are you not going to know how to talk? Are you just going to be like a wandering spirit that doesn't have any direction? Take your time. There's no rush. Like I do say, no rushing, because reflection is the first step to reclaiming your identity. Now, sometimes we need to remember that our worth isn't tied to anyone else. Whether you believe in God, whether you believe in the universe, or just human resilience, your identity is yours to claim. And as the Quran reminds us, no soul shall be. Sorry, I actually forgot. It says, no soul shall bear the burden of another. Quran 16:164, and Deuteronomy 24:16 in the Bible says that parents are not to be put to death for their children, nor children put to death for their parents. Each will die for their own sin. I don't know if I'm correct with that Deuteronomy and the verse, but if I could remember properly from the verse that I read, because sometimes I read the Bible. So that means that your family expectations, your mistake, nobody is sure Tony. You're going to answer each of your own deeds. Just like the Quran and the Bible say, no soul shall bear the burden of another. And same as some parents, are not to put, not even some parents are not to be put to death for their children, nor children put to death for their parents. Each will die for their own sin. That means your family expectations, mistake, or limitation do not define your soul, does not define what you are. You have the right and the responsibility to define who you are. Okay? It's okay to honor your family, but you must also honor yourself, my darling. Honor yourself. You're not a product of their expectations. As if maybe they are what they didn't achieve when they were small. It's more like an insecurity, like I didn't do it. Meanwhile, you have your own goals. You have what you've already been created for on this earth. You are a living, breathing individual with your own purpose. That's it. Like I said, dreams and potentials. You have a lot of things to achieve. Okay, and I will tell you that thing is a powerful truth to sit with. I want you to know that family influences us but doesn't define us. Reflection and conscious choice are your tools to step into your own identity. Your family may shape the first chapter of your life, your story, like my own memo when I'm writing. I'm writing my memo. That's it. Although it's in re-editing stage. So I said it in the first chapter that your family may shape the first chapter of your story, but you hold the pen for the rest. You don't need to blame anybody. Oh, it's my mommy. Oh, it's my daddy. Oh, like that. No, you want to be aggressive. You an adult. Heal. Go for therapies. Research. Listen to people's talk. Go for conference about healing. You hold it, the pen, to become the better version of yourself. And that story, it can be powerful, bold, and unapologetically yours. Okay? Now, if this episode resonated well with you, I want you to comment, DM me, or share your story. Let's continue this conversation, because identity is something we explore, reflect on, and redefine together. Thank you for listening to Rima's Talk Show. Stay bold, stay honest, and remember, your story is yours to tolerate and to write. Bye.